Now this is the artist. This is a painter, unlike Fabiano, who's a fine art photographer, and Tom Legend, who's a fine art photographer from the printing world. And I still call him Andrew Burgess, but he's now called Andy Burgess. And Andrew is a British artist who I met in 2001. And before I even had my gallery, right after I finished studying for my postgraduate degree in art history at Christie's, I fell in love with his work at first sight. I mean, I just thought he was amazing. I ran into the gallery and said, you know, your work is like, no, I said, the work here is like Hopper meets pop art. And I had never met Andrew before, and he said, did you read the article in the Times today? And I said, no. And I said, well, who are you? And he said, I'm the artist. And there was a review in the Times that had said exactly that Andrew's work was like Hopper meets pop art. So his subject, very much like the other two artists, is architecture. And until in recent years, it's more modernism. But when I met Andrew, he was doing a lot of, I don't know if, can't really show that, can we? At the end, okay. I've got some catalogs to show you as well. So Andrew was doing a lot of urban architectural scenes, urban life. Again, like Fabiano's work, no people. His subject is the actual architecture of the buildings, and we are to inhabit them, and we can have a narrative, and we can have a story about these places. And these are real places, but they're also he shares with Tom. There's an architectural fantasy here as well, because this one, let's go to this one. This is called the Style House, and people might know of that because it's one of the very famous houses in California that is celebrated in modernism. There's a very famous photo by a 50s or 60s photo of this in the Hollywood Hills. And of course, what he's done here, he has taken the Style House and he has recreated it in, an Andrew Burgessized it, if you will, and put different colors in it, but was really focusing on the line, on the geometry, and the pool, always pool. And then the other one I want to talk about is Lookout House at Dusk. I think this is one of his masterpieces. It was chosen specifically by the Scope Art Fair as a highlight, and one that they really wanted to focus on because they felt that the painting here was just so extraordinary and actually quite varied, even in its composition itself, with the colors, with the lines, with the heavy geometry. So when you were entering it, we're like, we're in a box and we're seeing all these lines, and where would we go? It's kind of almost like a maze. And when you come out, it's kind of you see it differently, and you see the landscape around it, and it's more soft. So it's kind of like a combination. Again, we're inhabiting this place. It's based on a real place that Andrew has seen, and he's imagined as well. So basically, Andrew started in Britain, in London. He's a North London boy, and he had a very successful career here. He met his wife online, and moved where she was to Tucson, Arizona, and settled there. And from there, that was about 10 years ago. And then, of course, his work is still celebrating architecture and geometry and color and light, but it really pushed it to be informed by the Southwest. And a good comparison here is David Hockney, who Andrew has been compared to by many journalists. He saw the light, he saw the color. It just excited him in a way that he wanted to get stuck into modernism. We started showing his work all over California, particularly in Palm Springs. We were fortunate enough he befriended the son of Donald Wexler, the famous modernist architect. And then he was able, before Donald Wexler passed away, he was able to get into some of those homes and photograph them. So it's been really, really interesting working with Andrew. So I started to work with him before I even had a gallery. And we've been working together for, I guess, nearly 20 years, and both successfully in all over Europe and of course in the United States. So I think one of the things I wanted to say about all three of these artists, they share the love of architecture.